started. Are you guys ready? For 5 more minutes? Okay, I'll come back. Are you guys ready? Are you guys really ready? Alright. Today you'll be hearing firsthand from members of the FF11 Dev Team all kinds of privileged information on what they have in store for the future of NDL. So be prepared to have your minds blown by some FF11 girl that you won't get anywhere else. So, without further ado, let's introduce the visiting members of the development and management teams. A big round of applause, please. Director of Returning Oregon and Future Block Expansions, nothing pleases me more than smiles on the faces of FF11 players everywhere. Please welcome Mr. Koichi Ogawa. Specializing in the battle system since the initial planning stages, the very mention of our next guest is enough to send even the most battle-hardened beastmen fleeing in terror. Let's hear from Mr. Akihiko Matsui. When he's not busy working on prestige, salvage, or campaign, he's busy coming up with more fiendish, notorious monsters. Let's have a warm welcome for Mr. Mizuki Ito. From battle design for newly introduced jobs, to merit points and the tweaking of all jobs, to motion sequences for any monster you can think of, you name it, he does it. Come on down, Mr. Mizutoshi Gondai. At the forefront of the Community and Service Division, spanning the bridge between the developers and the players, Lord Supreme over the GMs the world around, and supervisor of the information team, he's been in the thick of it since the dawn of online games, fighting on the sides of the players. You know him, you love him, Sage Sunday. Our final guest, Dark Lord of Development and Management Teams, designer of the chat system, the GUI in various gameplay settings, the producer of Final Fantasy XI, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Hiromichi Tanaka. Someone who may have more of an impact on your lives than you will ever realize. Head of the FF11 English localization effort, and from whom we hear a pretty hardcore FF11 player in his own right. He will be interpreting for today's panel. Please put your hands together for Mr. Steven Reinhardt. So first, let me say thank you so much for coming to be with us here today. Thank you. All right, so let's go right into our development presentation, shall we? Shall. Yeah! Yeah! All right. Here we would like to have our guests tell us a little bit about the highly anticipated December version update. So here we go. First up on the docket. Here it comes.
してほしいと言われて、本当にそこをどうにかしたくて企画したものです。
So the initial inspiration for Level Sync was really the 11 community. Not only the players, but also whenever we had these media interviews with the premier sites or other media representatives, we were constantly hearing people voice their opinion and their desire for making the parties, easier to form a party and making the leveling experience easier. So we really wanted to do something about it, and so we went to work on it.
ただこれまで続けてきた11のポリシーを根底から変えない大掛かりな変更だったことや、いざ導入してみたら誰も使ってくれなかったらどうしようという不安もあったので、皆さんに使ってもらえている現状はとても嬉しく思っています。
They kind of realized midway through the development process that this was really going to entail an overhaul of the system. They were really going to have to kind of kick the bottom out of the pre-existing system. And also there was constantly the worry of, what if we make this thing and it ends up nobody even uses it? So they're worried about this kind of thing. So because they have those anxieties, that makes it all the more satisfying that it's being used to the extent that it is now.
で、まだまだ調整や変更を続けたい部分もあります。で、次回のバージョンアップではその一環として、シンクの基準となっているプレイヤーがレベルアップした際に、プロテスなどの良い効果や TP が消えないようにします。
Yes, and even now they're still thinking about ways that they can improve the system and adjustments that they can make. So they've prepared some that are going to be implemented in the upcoming December version update, which you can expect. And specifically, this should please a lot of people. From now on, when the level sync designee levels up, beneficial status effects such as protect will no longer disappear. Also, TP will no longer disappear.
今聞いてない回避と敵対心、あとヒーリング HP とヒーリング MP も有効にする予定です。
And also, I think we announced previously when we initiated the level sync system on our topics, we had a list of gear attributes that would remain in effect and would be scaled down with level sync. And we're going to be adding some to that list, and these will include, as of the December version update, evasion, enmity, and healing MP and healing HP.
考慮しながらレベルシンクやレベル制限エリアで遊びやすくなるよう引き続き調整を行っていきますので、プレイをして気づいたところや感じたことがありましたらぜひ教えてください。
So yeah, they're just going to keep in mind, the gear for certain level ranges and the attributes of that gear in mind, and they're to carry out these kind of modifications to the system, to both level sync and level restricted areas and things in general. So just to try to make it playing in those areas as smooth and enjoyable as possible for players. So if any of you have any suggestions or input of any kind, please don't hesitate to let them know, and we hope you continue to use